happen. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm from IETE-ISF. Welcome you all to the today's session of one of the reality 20. You all are having an unmatched learning experience. Today's session we'll be learning about Git and GitHub. Git is free and open source distributor version control system which is designed to maintain code, track the changes, recover the version, and to collaborate with other developers. This session will provide you an introduction to Git and GitHub. Audience. Today we have to give us the best insight. We have with us Seema, Miss Seema Saharan, one who system who's the associate system engineer at IBM. She's a speaker, mentor, open source distributor, and a YouTuber. Ma'am is IT industry who is passionate about all latest technology. She loves to share her knowledge with others and has mentored over 200 plus students. Ms. Seema has on a popular YouTube channel called Bash Woman, which aims to guide tech industry in their career. As we proceed through the session, if you have any doubt, kindly post like take it up. IETE-ISF recommends for her session on Git and GitHub today. It is a great honor to have you with us, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so hello everyone. So we will just start the session. Thank you for inviting me, and we will talk about open source and Git and GitHub, and I will tell you and walk you through the demo of how to create a pull request. So first, we will talk about open source. Why we need to contribute to open source? You must have heard of this name that open source is really good to contribute to and you will learn a lot of things, but what it is and what does it provide to you, so we will discuss everything. So first, open source, like have written over there, that limitless opportunities with a lots of learnings. Okay, before jumping to the session, I want to just introduce myself. I am Seema Saharan. I am working as associate system engineer at IBM. I have a YouTube channel. I am open source enthusiast and contributor. Also a maintainer for some of the projects. A mentor, speaker, and Red Hat certified, and also Auth0 ambassador. That's all about me. And now the main session. So what is open source? Whenever we talk about open source, we generally refer to open source software. So what it is? Number one is it's public. It's public. That means the source code is publicly available. You can see the whole code. What are the things, what are the tech stack that software has used. You can make a pull request. We will talk about what is a pull request after some time, and you can modify it. If you see some of the features you can add to that project, you can do that. After that, you can distribute the project. And fourth one is the users will utilize that modified project. So there is a quote by Linus Torvalds. He is the creator of Linux kernel. And one more thing, it's a Linux kernel is one of the biggest project in open source. And whenever we talk about Linux, it's referred to as Linux kernel. Linux is not an operating system. Linux is a kernel, and Linux has some distributions that are the operating system like Ubuntu, Kali Linux, Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS, etc. So he said, in real open source, you have the right to control your own destiny. So what can we do? What can we learn from open source? First, and the main thing is collaboration with the experts, because there are many open source projects available, and there are already thousands and more than thousands of experts already working on those projects. Like if you talk about Linux and Python, React, these are some of the, and Flutter also. Flutter is becoming very famous as an open source project. So there are many open source projects available, and they have already many experts working on that project. So if you start um, contributing to that project, you will get to meet a lot of people. Your network will be improved. You will know lots of experts. So I think that is the main thing about open source, because otherwise I think there are lesser chances that you will meet and you will talk to some expert or who is a part of some big project. Second is sharing. I always talk about that you have to share your knowledge, because it's really essential, as it helps in your own personality. When you start sharing your knowledge, you also get to learn a lot of things, because when we share our knowledge, people will ask you questions and you will think of them that when I was learning Python, I didn't thought of that. So you will do more research. So there are many learning opportunities when you share your knowledge. That's why I do this a lot. Third is learning. These are all uh, same thing, because they come along, like they just come along parallelly. If you share, you will learn, and you learn, share. Okay. Fourth is hands-on. It's really important, because if I talk about my personal experience, in my BTech journey, I see in myself and in my friends that they were just seeing a lot of like binge watching tutorials of Python, of Linux, of any tech stack, and but they were not. And personally, I was not doing. I was not making projects for like 2 years of my BTech, first and second year. But after I got to know about open source, that really helped me to get out of this tutorial hell. It's really a hell if you just binge watching all the tutorials and not doing anything. So open source really helps in that, because you will get to work on a lot of projects, like real world projects, and you will meet a lot of new people. You will know how to write good code, and you will practice some of the best code writing things. Okay. Second thing is, now we know that what is open source and what can we learn, but why we need to contribute to open source? Because there are many opportunities waiting for you if you just start with open source. This is you can learn and grow alongside some of the few. I mean, there are many programs that are encouraging students to contribute to open source, and they are becoming there are more programs like from the past 1 year. There are many programs now, but the main ones are GSOC, that is Google Summer of Code, and it is coming. I think it's just 1 month uh, remaining for that, I guess. Second is GSOC, that is currently going on, and I am the mentor there for a project. Next is GSOD, that is Google Season of Docs. I will explain about that. Outreachy and a lot of more. I have a list of open source program. I will share that link after this slide, after this presentation completes. First is GSOC. You already know about what is GSOC, Girl Script Summer Code, but what is GSOD? Okay, So whenever you listen to like open source, you will thought that you need to code, you just need to be super good in coding. But there are some programs like GSOD, which is encouraging the documentation. Okay, so it's completely based on your documentation skills. Also, in open source, there is not just coding, there is like diversity and inclusion part and documentation designing part. So it is not just limited to coding part. If you're not good at coding, you can do other things too. Okay, there is community work also. So there are many things in open source. So don't just be afraid that I don't know coding and I can't start with open source. Okay, so if you Google that how many projects, open source projects are available, so there is approximately, I mean, more than 180K projects available right now. So I think companies like Google is highly encouraging uh, contributing to open source. So yeah, there is some things you need to consider that too. A big giant company is focusing on open source, and I think every company is focusing on open source. And there are many companies who are uh, mostly based on open source companies, and they have also enterprise products too. Okay, so some YouTube channels I recommend. First is mine if you want. Second is Code for Course. Definitely check his channel. They have a lot of good, really quality content. So don't listen to all the videos that are uh, my headphone got disconnected. That's okay. Okay. So first one is Code for Course. They have like really long playlist about open source, and this is the quality content you should watch. And don't trust anyone who is saying that you should contribute to this and this. Always check, always research about that, and don't watch blindly any YouTube channel, because I have seen some of the videos that they are just like misguiding students. So don't do that. Next is Eddie. He's in DevRel, so his YouTube channel is really good, and his channel is mainly about communities and open source. And this is not sponsored. I really love the content of these two channels about open source, so definitely check them out. This is me. That's it. Okay, let's head to GitHub, Git and GitHub. Okay, so why Git? Okay, so let's suppose you are the hackathon is going on. You must have 4 to 5 people in your team, and you are all working remotely. Okay, and how Git helps in working remotely is that if you are, let's suppose you are working on an application, 2 people of your team are working on front end, 2 on back end, and one is designing something. Okay, so you all need to like merge all the changes to one single code, obviously. So how you can collaborate with Git? Okay, so this is the main thing about Git, that it is the best in collaboration because it uses distributed version control system. And um, also, um, all of the 5 people will have different branches. Okay, so they will be working separately on their branches. Branches like branches, there is the main branch, and there will be many extended branch. So you never work on main branch or the master branch directly. Okay, so that is the production code. You never do that. Okay, so we just create separate branches for every individual. If they do their tasks and they after completing all their tasks, they make a pull request so that they can merge all the changes to the main branch. So that's the main use of Git. Okay, so I have covered that. Okay, so about GitHub Education. So if you are a student, I think you are all student here. So you can apply for GitHub Education Student Developer Pack. That is this, in which you will get a lot of softwares and courses also for web development and various courses. You will get them for completely free, and yeah, it helps a lot. I had that student developer pack, and it really helped me. Okay, there is GitHub Campus Advisors, that is for the teachers, the faculties. Next is GitHub Campus Experts. You can apply for that, and you will be interviewed and you will be given some tasks. And if you become a GitHub Campus Expert, that will be really um, like a career change for yourself, because it will like give you the opportunity to give some talks at some events, and yeah, you will be in one of the few people in your college that will be highlighted. Yeah, some talented person is there. Okay. So we have GitHub for education, GitHub for science, GitHub for government, etc. Okay, what is GitHub Pages? If you like writing technical blogs or just blogs, it doesn't matter what you write, or you have a portfolio. Okay, so what you can do is, and you don't want to buy any domain, but GitHub Student Developer Pack also provide you a free domain for 1 year or till you are a student. So what you can do with GitHub Pages is that you can make your own website. That is just the static website. If you just want to create a static website, then definitely you can prefer GitHub Pages. Other for dynamic, it doesn't work. Okay, collections. So and there are GitHub. GitHub has many repositories. They have organizations like many organizations push or store their code on GitHub. So yeah, there is journalism, learn to code, social impact. Okay, so some of the famous communities on GitHub that are present are MLH. You must have heard of that if you are into hackathons. For Python, and NASA Free Code Camp, and also if you write on Dave 2, so they are also open source. So the forum they use is open source, so you can also contribute to that. So some of the events that are organized is, I think this is not in work. I mean, last year it was not, it didn't happen, but Hacktoberfest, you must have heard of this, and GitHub Field Day. Okay, so I talk. Okay, let's start the main thing. Okay, so the main thing is about repositories. So what is a repository? Repository, okay, I will just switch. Okay, yeah. A repository is like any other folder on your computer. Like you are working on your Windows, you have a folder named music. So you can also prefer it as a repository, but there is one exception, that a Git repository has a hidden file named .git, which stores all of the history of your projects. And if you by chance delete that file or folder file, so it will erase your project history and you won't be able to extract the previous changes of that project. So you won't be able to revert the changes. So never delete the .git. Okay. Okay. You need to install Git. You can download it. You just need to type git bash and you just install it. That's it. After that, you are ready to work on Git and GitHub. So Git is just a version control system. GitHub is the website to that you are able to use Git. Okay, that uses Git. Okay, so let me just share the demo now because it will take a lot if I go through the slides. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile, and here you can see repositories. So I have many repositories, and you will find an icon here that is new. So just click on new, and mm, so I will just give a unique name that is not present in my account. You can give it give any name. Description optional, but it's best that you give the description so that if other people visit your GitHub profile, they will see that what this project is about. So I will just give a description. This repository is for docs. Okay, you can either make it public or private. Private is not available for like normal accounts. If you have GitHub Student Developer Pack, you will have the option to make your repository private. Next, add a README file. You can add, it's optional. If your project requires a .git ignore, then you can include that. But the main thing is that you must include a README file and you should choose a license. Okay. Okay, so what is a README file? README file is just a documentation for the project. If you like reading documentation of softwares, I like that. So a README file comes handy when you don't want to watch any tutorials. You just want to read that out and what this project is about, how you can use that project, and everything will be included there. Mainly contributors and how you can contribute to that project, some of the things that are included. Okay, you don't need to include Azure pipelines. If you are working on pipelines, then you can, but right now it's not necessary. Finally, create repository. That's it. Okay, so this is the repository. I haven't added any README file. This is just the description. Okay, so now this is the remote side of that project, but you will be working on your local system. You can work on your work on remote using code spaces, but I will show you with the local system. Okay, so if you want to just just store your project from remote, that is GitHub, to your local system, that is your PC or laptop, you just need to copy this URL. You copied it, okay, and I will just make a new folder, demo, and I will open my code editor. I use VS Code. Okay. Okay. So now you have your project, but you haven't stored your repository in your local system yet. So what you will do is open your terminal, or you can use the integrated VS Code terminal, or PowerShell, or CMD, or Git Bash, any terminal you want, but I just prefer this one. So what you will do is you need to clone that repository to your local system. Cloning means like you are copying or downloading your project to the local system. So you will just git clone and paste the URL of that repository. Press enter. This is now cloning talk session in my, yeah, it's done. And you will notice that, okay, I will just zoom in a bit. Yeah, I think it will be fine now. So you may have noticed that there is a new folder called talk session, and it just says here that cloning into talk session. That means our repository is now in local system, and you can work in this repository without any internet connection. Okay. Next is, let's suppose you just want to, I will just show a demo how you make a pull request. I won't do some coding because it will take a long time. So let's suppose I'm just writing something that I am Seema Saharan. So I added this new file. Okay. And if you see, wait, I will show you. Yeah. Oh, I hide. So I by chance hide the folder. I think that will not be a problem, maybe. Okay, so let's focus on this. So I just added a new line that is I'm Seema Saharan. So now it's changed, but uh, this is on your local system. This is not uploaded or delivered, or you haven't made any pull request that will like it will merge on the master branch. But the next step should be, sorry, um, I forgot to one step. And next step, after cloning your repository, you need to make a separate branch that all the changes you will make now will be stored in your personal branch and not the master branch. So for that, uh, okay, if you by chance forget any, let's suppose any command, so you can just type this and you will see everything. Okay, so if you just type git --help, you will get all the commands. And if you want to see for a specific command that is okay, let's check for git uh, pull -help. Okay, so it will display all of the options, and yeah, it will just display the manual page of git pull, so you can read it out. Okay, so every option, every the syntax, everything is included, so you don't have to worry that what if I just forget these commands. So you don't have to worry about that. There is always Google and the documentation itself, so don't worry about if you by chance forget anything. Okay, so there is a command called git init. We talked about that there is a hidden .git file that stores all of the history or the commit messages of that repository. So you need to do that. Okay, so okay, so if you see ls-a, yeah, it will display the hidden files too. -a option helps in that. So there is a .git file. Okay, I should be working on talk session. Okay, now it's perfect. So there is .git license and readme file. So now we want to create another branch. So um, just a second. So we covered this. Okay, we will cover this and this. Okay, I will just. Okay. So if you want to create a new branch and also switch directly to that branch, what you will do is just type git checkout -v and name of that branch. I will just name the branch as talk. Checkout option, sorry, argument, or I forgot the name, sorry about that. But git checkout command is used to create another, switch to another branch, and -v will create that branch. Okay, so if you notice that there was main there, that you were working on main branch, it was previously referred to as master branch, but there was some issues, so they just changed to the main branch. And you notice that there is new thing that is talk, that is our branch. So you are 5 people working on your team, so you will create separate branches, uh, like 5 branches. Okay, don't work on the main branch. Next, now you have created the branch, it's time to make some changes. So I will just add a line. I added this line on talk branch. Now, okay, so there is a command called git status. So if you see that on branch talk, we are working on talk branch, change is not staged for commit. What does it mean? Okay, and also it says in red that it's modified and no changes added to commit. What does it mean? Okay, so whenever you make some changes, Git doesn't know you did that until and unless you commit those changes. It's just saved on your local machine, but Git doesn't know that. So how can we tell Git that just store this information in your .git file, that you need to store this information in your commit history? So how can we do that? Next command is git add dot period, or you can include the file name here, okay, or the folder name that you want to add to the git history. Okay, so I will just use period here, enter. Period means include all the files in git. Now Git knows that you have made some changes, but how to reconfirm? How can we trust Git? Okay, we can't trust Git. Git can't trust us. So, okay, so we have to confirm everything. So we will run the command again. Now, previously it was in red. That means you have modified but not added those changes in the staged form. Now you see that it's modified in green and changes to be committed. It's not committed, it's just added to the Git history. Okay. Next thing you need to do is git commit. That means git, please store the information and please just save this. Okay. -m option is used to for the commit message. You must have a good commit message. Otherwise, if you see the large code bases, so it's pretty difficult if you don't have a right commit message. I see many students doing like they are not specifying everything in the commit message and the description. So for the maintainer, it's a quite hectic task because there will be lots of changes and you didn't specify a good commit message. So it's better that you specify that you make a good commit message. So the commit message will be in double quotes. So I will just say edit my name in first line. Okay, and just okay, and enter. Now again we will check that git status and it says nothing to commit, working tree clean. That means you have saved all those changes in the git commit history. And if you want to, let's suppose if you want to get back to the previous changes, so you can do that with the git revert and git revert uh, syntax command, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so now everything is set, but it's still on your local machine. How we will push this code on the remote side? Okay, so for that you need to go on GitHub part. Sorry, you need to push those changes. Okay, so the next command is git push. And wait, let me just clear this. Git push and origin. You can, this is the remote URL. You can also make your own remote URL if you want, but this is the by default, like the by default branch is main branch. Likewise, it is remote URL. That means remote URL is like this is for this repository. This is a remote URL. That means you want to now push or just save the changes that you have in the local environment on your desktop or your computer to the GitHub. Okay, so git push the remote URL. You can create another, but it's by default, and the branch name. So which branch you want to push on the GitHub? Okay, enter. And it will, yeah. So it pushed all those changes on new branch, that is doc. Okay, so we created doc and it is now saved on this URL. So how, okay. So if you go back to GitHub, you will see that there is another new message that is displayed on the screen, that is doc had doc, that is our branch name. If you can see here that there is main, and if you want to, okay, so there are two branches. One is main branch, that is by default branch, and my branch is doc branch, and it's also an active branch. Okay, so it shows that this branch had made some changes, and if you want to merge all those changes to the main branch or not. So now this part is for the maintainer part. If you contribute to a project and if it's your personal, then you do it yourself. For the maintainers part, what they do is um, they don't generally come here like this, but it will be stored on pull request. But it's my repository, that's why it's coming here. Okay, so this is a user part. So you have to give a full, complete description that what changes you made, what errors you removed, uh, did you practice clean code strategy or not, and everything. And different projects have different template for making the pull request. So and they also have some GitHub actions. So you need to like they all should be they all should run okay so, and I will just specify a brief description for that. I added my name to the first line in readme.md file. Okay, so if you don't know what is .md, it's the uh, Markdown file. It's it's pretty easy to understand, and if you want to learn how to make readme files, you can just Google it. There are few syntaxes, and if you don't know about that, then GitHub provides everything here, so you just don't need to worry about that. Okay, but I think it's good that you learn some syntaxes about MD Markdown. Okay, so I will just click create pull request and it's completed. Okay, now comes the maintainer part. Let's suppose someone, not Seema, uh, created this pull request, and it will be always be displayed here that these are the pull requests you have on your project. So if you want, you can okay, so for the maintainer side, you need to go on file changed. So what maintainer do is they will check that if this pull request is correct or not, and if it has followed all the rules that was okay. So if you see that there is a green line. Okay, so green lines means you have made changes on these lines. Okay, and you can also see here that you have just added one thing and you haven't deleted anything. That's it. Okay, so maintainers will see that okay, this pull request is good, and you can also check it here that you have viewed this pull request, and other maintainers can also review this. And also if you want that some changes you want that the person who made this pull request need to add or change some things, so you can also do that. Okay, so since it's my own repository, so I can't request any changes. But if it were some other project, so I would have created this like request changes, and I will specify everything that you need to change on this line and you need to change this. But since it's not required here, so I will just leave that and go to conversation. And yeah, this pull request was fine, and I will just create merge request and confirm merge. That's it. So this purple, um, it's merged, and yeah, it feels really good when your pull request is merged into some project. Yeah. Okay, I think I have covered everything that you need to know about Git, GitHub, and open source. And if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. I will be happy to help.
Yes, ma'am, there was one question. asking like, is this necessary to include a README file?
I can't understand you.
If, will the repository work without README file? Was the question.
Yeah, it can work without README, but it's a good practice that your project has some README file because there are many factors to that. That someone visits your repository and they want to look into that project, they will obviously not go to the whole code base if it's a big project, and it will be really tough to understand that what this project do. So that's the main thing. And of, apart from that, you need to have a good README file because it can help in your mm, jobs and all. Yeah, it can really help if you have a good README file, and yeah, many companies may hire you. I don't know. It's possible.
What about when it comes to security, ma'am?
Security, okay. There is license, and like on GitHub, we only store the open source projects. Not all. Like we have a few projects called Linux kernel and all, but I don't think there is any security issues. But no, I don't think so. And we cannot also copy the project because they have license, and yeah, strict actions can be taken because it really depends on the license the project is using. If it is MIT license, it's okay to download and reuse that project. But if it's let's suppose Apache or some other license, then it's not good to copy that project.
Okay. I express my sincere thanks to Ms. Seema Saharan for taking out time to enlighten us all. Thank you, ma'am. The session is part of Access Denied 21. Access Denied is 36 hours of hackathon conducted by IETE-ISF from March 19th to 21st. There are exciting cash prizes awaiting. The winners will get 20,000 rupees, and the runner-up will get 15,000 rupees, and second runner-up will get 10,000 rupees. There are also uh, track specific prizes and other special mentioned prizes along with it. We also have a similar session from prominent speakers throughout this week as part of Hackathon Access Denied. Access Denied is one of the best hackathon conducted by VIT. Um, if you have not yet registered, then you can click on the link in the description box and register it. Once again, thank you, ma'am, to enlighten us on this topic. Thank you, everyone. Meet you